So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're with Jake from Smout's Pressure Washing. Here he is on the screen right here for you to see. Jake,
Hello.
if you'd like to introduce yourself to what you are, what you do, and a bit about your business.
Yeah, my name's Jake, and I started I think first and foremost, probably you want to know about my business. I started my pressure washing business, I reckon it was about 3.5 years ago, just sort of on the side of my regular job. I had a full-time, 9 to 5, officey sort of job. And I weren't very happy, so I decided to start my own thing. Probably worst possible timing, because it was when the pandemic hit and everything doubled in price. All the vans went up about 200%, and all the timber went up about 300%. And then, I've just been gradually building it on the side, and then ended up going full time, and things grew and grew and grew. And I think I'm in year 3 now, and it seems to be going really well so far. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, so if you didn't know, me and Jake did a live stream a few weeks back. It was on Jake's channel. That was a few hours, wasn't it? We had a great chat on there about all things exterior cleaning.
Yeah.
So
every Monday night we like to. I don't know why. I don't know how people watch it, to be honest. It's like every single Monday night people tune in to talk about pressure washing. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I know, you're quite some audience, didn't you? I was looking the other night, it was like 70 people on there at one point.
It's crazy. I actually can't believe it.
How did the giveaway go?
We gave away a bunch of stuff, actually. We gave away a £50 voucher for Clean Link, which is like a new pole supplier in the UK, which was cool. We gave away some nozzles, pressure washing nozzles. Good to Vacuum Systems, just before Christmas, they gave away £460 worth of Panther Good to Vacuum plus poles and stuff. It's been people have been so generous. It's been crazy.
Yeah, no, I saw, because I was on that. I had some neurovirus, so I was basically dying that whole week.
Really?
Yeah, I was bed bound. So on the Sunday night, I had a roast dinner, and then within a few hours, I was sweating basically on the toilet, and I had to get naked in my girlfriend's house. Quite embarrassing to talk about. But I was in bed for 4 days, looking at screens, any sort of light was awful. And I remember it was on the Monday when you went live. I looked on the group on the stream, and I was on there for about 20 minutes, and I couldn't do any more than that. So I didn't actually see the winner.
Yeah, everyone's been ill. I was ill just before Christmas. I had a week of just. Not as bad as you, but I was just coughing and spluttering and sneezing. It was horrible.
Yeah. No, it wasn't good at all. But yeah, I mean, there's loads of people I know now that've got COVID all of a sudden. It's coming back in.
Yeah, there's all sorts of strands and variants going on at the minute, isn't there?
Yeah.
Everyone's got the lurgy.
Well, anyway, so how did you begin your exterior cleaning life? What was you doing before? And what made you make the decision?
So, I don't want to share too much about my old job, but basically, I didn't get on particularly well with my old boss, and when you sort of feel like you've got a little bit more than what you're being utilised for.
Yeah.
I'm sure loads of people have that, where if you have maybe a fairly basic job where you're not really challenged that often, your mind sort of wanders and thinks I could be doing more than this, really. It was that sort of situation. Before I was fitting panic alarms for vulnerable people, installing bed sensors for people who've got epilepsy, intruder alarms, all that sort of stuff. And it was challenging. The job was fairly difficult at times, but when you just totally lose respect for your superiors and you just don't want to be there anymore, and it's I've got to find something else. So I found myself taking the work home with me every night, and just that's all I could think about, and I was getting so upset and just disheartened. And I thought, if I'm going to be spending the majority of my time at work, I want to at least be doing something where it doesn't make me unhappy. I'd rather be at a level where I'm neutral rather than unhappy. If I can get some happiness, then great. But if I can maintain neutral, that's where I want to be. And doing that job, I was just becoming unhappier and unhappier.
Yeah.
And so I bought a pressure washer, 300 quid I think it was, and some bags and a broom and a little hose reel. And it was the only idea that I'd ever presented to my girlfriend, because I've got all these business ideas constantly running through my head. I think I've got a little bit of undiagnosed, but potentially a little bit of ADHD, where my mind wanders. I can't focus on anything. I have ideas coming through constantly, and you never know which one to focus on. And I've never given any one thing enough of a chance to get anything going. So I've like partially committed to ideas and never really stuck with anything. And so I said to my girlfriend, like, this is what it's going to cost me to buy the equipment and set up basic equipment, and this is how much I think I can make per job, and it's something that I can just do evenings and weekends. What do you think? And she went, sounds like a good idea. I was like, the first time she's ever been like slightly
confident with like an idea.
Not encouraging. She's very supportive anyway, but it's like the first time she's been like, yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. And so I bought the equipment, started advertising. I made a Facebook page, and I thought, okay, I need some pictures. I need some before and after pictures to advertise my services. So I asked my family and friends, like, does anyone need anything doing? I can obviously do it for cheaper than probably what you'd normally pay. And it was the pictures that were most valuable to me. Like, obviously the experience as well, but I really wanted to get some before and after pictures, some really good ones.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I mean, pictures at the start for anyone are quite difficult to get hold of, aren't they? Because they either have to go and get the work, or you do a really good service, don't you, to help people out if they become a member of your channel, which is really good. In terms of,
I wasn't going to bring that up. But yeah, it's like stock images. You know, these big companies, they purchase stock images, use them as advertising for their website and stock footage and all that sort of stuff. I thought, like, moving forward quite a bit, I've got all these pictures on my phone and on my hard drive that I'm not going to use again. Someone else could make use of them. So yeah, it's like a bit of a perk of joining the Discord, is that you get access to all these before and after pictures that I've taken, and there's thousands now. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
I mean, your Discord's a great place, isn't it, for anyone starting out in terms of trying to get information and ask people that will actually answer their questions, because you see sometimes on Facebook, and I'm not going to mention any names of any other places, but people will put like a genuine question they won't know the answer to, like what ratio of hypo shall I use on this and that. Whereas people in the group or in the Discord will genuinely see what the surface is and know exactly how to clean it and what to do. And these questions will be answered with correct information, rather than people taking the piss out of them effectively.
There's always that risk on Facebook of just being ridiculed, and there's so many people in the industry that would rather point and laugh instead of helping someone. And I get it, because some of them are very basic questions, and a quick 2-minute Google search, or even searching the Facebook page using that function where you can find previous posts. There's a wealth of information on there that people have already asked and had answers, like comprehensive answers before, but I don't think I'd spend time asking a question in a Facebook forum now, because I've seen what can happen.
Yeah, the response. Yeah.
Yeah, and all that. It's all saved on there, and you think, God knows what I've typed on there in the past, and the questions I've asked when I first started, they're probably all still on there, and it's just like, it can be quite embarrassing when you feel like you might have something that seems quite complicated to me might be really, really simple for someone else, especially if they've got experience. And so there's that kind of power dynamic of someone who's got all the information, someone who's asking an innocent question, and some people aren't very good at communicating without being a bit of a douche about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And yeah, for anyone that's interested to join Jake's Discord, all you've got to do is head to his channel, which is Smout, isn't it? It's just Smout.
Yeah, Smout on YouTube.
Smout on YouTube. And then there's a join button, isn't there?
Yeah, under most of my videos and live streams, there's like a membership thing. But
Yeah.
thanks for shouting that out. By the way.
No worries. I'm sure. Yeah, there'll be someone out there that's listening for the first time and will be interested to know, how the journey will start for all of us and get some valuable information they can't get from anywhere else. But yeah.
Hopefully.
So keeping on the YouTube topic, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel with the business?
Well, when I presented that idea to Sophie, one of the other things I said was, it also lends itself to like satisfying content. So the photos and the videos that you can get sort of advertise themselves. And I've always been interested in YouTube. I've got a little bit of a past of like making gaming videos, like game review videos, and doing live streams on Twitch and stuff. And so I've always been interested in that side of things. And so I'm quite techie. I like my cameras, my gaming laptop, all that sort of stuff. And I thought this is a great job or industry where I can earn money doing the job, and then potentially turn that content into something else as well and like reuse it. It's just that satisfying, either before and after pictures, or satisfying work that people, you can't help but if you scroll in your feed and you see something being cleaned, it's like, oh yeah, I've got to watch this now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean that happened. I break my YouTube videos up to some things that are satisfying and stick them on Facebook, but I get a lot of response from people the other side of the country. But it's always like commenting saying very satisfying and all this and that. I've only ever got one job from a video posted on Facebook, and that was round the corner from my house. And that was that was a roof and apparently they watched the video. It was only about a 25-second video, and apparently they watched it for like 10 minutes, just going, "Wow, we really need that doing to our roof." But yeah, that was great. But yeah, I mean the YouTube side of it. It's always, I don't know how you kind of got into learning about things, but I watched a lot of. You started before me, so you were. I watched your video. I think the first video I've watched of yours was your van, the Peugeot Partner, the full setup video. I watched a lot of Sid Partridge, a lot of Macintosh, and kind of you get an idea, don't you, of how things are done and what equipment to use and things like that. And I think that's really helpful to anyone that hasn't started yet, that can look at videos of people doing things, like even how to set up, connect your hoses to your pressure washer or anything like that. To see it is a lot easier than to be described it to.
Yeah,
so,
and a lot of people talk about YouTube as like, do you get much work from YouTube? But that was never the intention. It was always just to either make cool videos and entertain, or to help people in my position that felt a little bit stuck at work and they wanted to sort of try something else. And I couldn't believe how possible it was to go from a 9 to 5 to starting your own business.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't teach you this stuff in school. They don't teach you that you can make your own business and just start earning money. Like anyone can go outside tomorrow, because it's a bit dark, and start knocking doors and say, "Can I clean your windows? Can I mow your grass?" There's so much you can do if you just get started, and it snowballs and evolves. And I never knew that was an option in school. I thought I just had to go to university or college or whatever. And so as soon as I did it, I was like, God, it's taken me this long to make this jump. And I wish I'd have known that this was possible like 5-10 years ago, because I'd have started sooner.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I had a friend the other day I met over Christmas, and he's basically been working quite far away, and I haven't seen him since we left school, which is about 6-7 years ago. And he worked for someone who does landscape gardening and things like that. And he was asking me the questions of how do you start? I want to start, but I'm scared of this, that, and the other. But I kind of had a brief chat about things, and I think he kind of learnt a lot, because he'd asked me face value. Do you know what I mean? Like my answers were, where it's quite easy if you do this, don't do that. It's quite good to know that information, which obviously I wish I knew a year or two sooner. And yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting to see how he's going to go with it, because already within the space of a week and a half, he started a Facebook page and he bought a chainsaw, and that's all he's bought. But it's a step in the right direction. And he made it very clear he didn't want to cut grass. That was the one thing he didn't want to do. But it's the same thing kind of happens to us though, isn't it? Because cutting grass for them people is like window cleaning for us. Do you know what I mean? It's the regular 25 quid kind of jobs, isn't it, that come about every 4 weeks or 6 weeks or so. But it's seasonal. Sorry. Go on.
No, go on. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. But yeah, it's slightly more seasonal, isn't it, than window cleaning? But that brings me on to my next question, actually. Have you ever had a window cleaning round? And if not, why? Why have you not chosen to do that? What was the path taken?
I think I was a little bit spoiled in the beginning, where because I'd committed so heavily to just pressure washing, I saw these high-ticket jobs, in my opinion. I was doing driveways and patios for between £100 and £500 in the beginning, thinking, I can't believe I'm earning this much money, like on the side of my regular job. And it's taking me a couple of hours, and then I've got to go back the next day to resand it, and that's going to take me half an hour. And like to go from never being self-employed and always waiting for my paycheck at the end of the month and pretty much already spending it before I've even received it, to then suddenly having all this extra money in my pocket that I could reinvest back into the business and stuff. I was like, this is crazy. I never knew this was possible. And then as I've said before, it's like the work sort of took a dip over winter, and I didn't realise that's what happened. I didn't realise this job was like seasonal. I was quite naive in the beginning, where I named the business Smout's Pressure Washing, thinking that's all I wanted to offer. And then and then the work dipped, and so I did consider. In the very beginning, I considered things like washing cars and cleaning windows and stuff. But when I got a taste of that pressure washing money, it's like, why would I do lower ticket jobs that are going to take me longer to earn the same as what I can potentially earn in one job? I'd rather hang out for those bigger jobs and wait. But what did you avoid window cleaning?
No,
similar.
I dive straight into window cleaning. That's how I started, because it was the cheapest thing that I could find to do in the industry that I kind of learned a lot about, if you know what I mean. So I started with a backpack and one of those thin micro hoses to the backpack, went up the pole. It was 22 feet. I've still got it, the red SLX. But yeah, that was basically what I did. And I went around with the backpack and that in my car. And I had about 5 customers. So it went all right to begin with, but that was in the space of a month. I probably got about 5 customers. And then it grew from there, and I bought, the second purchase I did was a pressure washer, which was the Hyundai P1, something like that. It was the orange one. Did all right, did a few jobs, but this was like September, maybe late August time, so I only basically had a month of that. And I say a month, I probably did about 3 or 4 jobs. And some of them weren't very big. One of them was okay, but not huge. And then after that, I bought a gutter vacuum, and over the course of the winter, I think I'd built up to about 30 window cleaning customers, and I was doing a few gutter jobs here and there, but I was still working 4 days a week, so I'd cram it all into a Friday or Saturday. And then this was only a year ago, really. Now,
really,
so it's gone quite well.
Isn't it amazing to look back and think, God, it was only a year ago since I was in that position?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I mean, I took the leap of going fully self-employed this April. Well, the April just gone. So it's been quite a big change of life, if you know what I mean, in quite a quick amount of time. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Did
you expect it to go this? I mean, 1, is it going well? And 2, I think it is. Did you expect it to go this well?
Well, in April, when I went fully self-employed, I basically earned. I didn't take a single penny, so everything went back into equipment or just holding on to money just for a rainy day.
You were paying for everything outright, wasn't you?
Yeah, so everything I bought was outright. But the reason why I did that is because I was earning at the same time. I didn't want to have so much like tax, if you know what I mean. So basically, I wanted to build up this pot of money which I could spend on whatever I wanted and whatever I needed then, and have all the good stuff the first time around, rather than kind of settle for something in between. So that's what I did, and then it went all of a sudden crazy because April I quit. Within a week, I'd done all the work that I had booked in, and I was like, So I spent. That was when I learned how to do Google Ads and run all that properly. And by the start of May, that had all picked up really well. I was doing a few leaflet drops myself, and then it was just general Facebook groups. Facebook groups was a good. marketing strategy to begin with, because all friends and family and everyone in the local area kind of knew me through whether it was football or whatever else. So I got quite a lot of work from doing that. But yeah, it's gone probably from June to now. It's gone unbelievably well.
So it might be worth mentioning, because I get asked this a lot. A lot of people that they ask, how did you know when it was the right time to leave your job and like go full time? And I don't know about you, but for me, I had a goal, and I never set goals because I think most goals are sort of arbitrary, and by the time you get to the point where the goal, the date, the target is expired, at that point your situation is totally different. But I set myself a goal of like, I want 2 months worth of wages saved. I want 2 months worth of work booked in my calendar. Bearing in mind this is booked around my 9 to 5, so I was getting to the point where I was like, getting a customer, they'll say, can you clean my driveway? I'm like, yeah, I'm booked up for about 2 months, so I can fit you in then. And they're normally fine with that. People are quite happy to wait sometimes, I've found. But that's 2 months away, including my regular 9 to 5. So if I left my job, all those jobs kind of get squished into maybe a week. So I had 2 months of savings, 2 months of work booked in, and I'd purchased all of my equipment that I needed to actually get going. So I had no more purchases to make up. I had my van, I had my upgraded machine. So my first one was a little one, then I upgraded to like a medium one, and I was happy using that. So I had nothing else to buy really, other than maintenance and like fuel and stuff. So that was the point that I knew. Mm-hmm. Was it like similar for you, where you bought everything outright and you were like, I'm ready?
I don't know. I didn't have work booked in to a point that I was like, I've got enough now to survive. I just took a leap of faith. The thing that I had is I had security of going back to my job if it didn't work out.
Same. So that's quite important as well, is not to cut your ties at your previous place and just say, look, I need to try this. It's the right time. You might find me crawling back in 6 months' time. But yeah, it's important not to like swear at your boss and storm out the door and say, I'm never going back.
Yeah.
I think it's important to maintain relationships with everyone, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. I'm still good friends with them. I've got all my container and I've got a trailer and stuff all on their yard, so still good friends with them. But yeah, the season thing, I think if you're going to do it, like you say, it's really good to have a pot of money in the bank, work booked in, and I honestly think it's best to do it in that springtime. I think April, May, June, because that way you can knock doors and get a pressure washing job. If you've got nothing, you could spend all day, and I bet you if you knock doors, from the minute it got light to the minute it got dark, you'd get a job, and you could go do that tomorrow, and then that would, it would work better. Whereas this time of year, if you try and knock doors to get someone to clean your door, to clean their driveway, I feel like they'll probably say yes, but they'd be more like, can we wait until spring? Can I book in for spring kind of thing? So it's quite... go on, sorry.
I went full time in April, like 2.5 years ago. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it is a great time. So if you're listening to this now, when we're recording or when it comes out, and you're looking to start this year, I do think really making a big push. Late March, start of April time, get all ready and have your equipment that you need and things. But
also don't wait. Yes, have your goal of like end of March, April. But don't wait to start. Like, still get going now.
Yeah.
I think, like I've said in the past, it's like if you're going to say I'm going to start my business in 3 months, it's like, what? So you're not going to do anything for the next 3 months? You're just going to wait? It's like you could be doing so much now to give yourself a bit of a head start.
It's like websites and things like that, isn't it? Even if you design a leaflet, it's like the 1% thing, isn't it? They say if you do one thing a day, you're going to see constant progress. But yeah, I mean, I think it took me about a month to build my website the first time, because I've built a few now, but now then it took me like a month to build it. So I did it all myself, and then I've upgraded it a lot since then. But yeah, there's always things you can be doing to start. I mean, if you're going to start right this second, window cleaning is probably a great way to start. Personally,
me and my mate Rich developed this strategy where if you've already got contacts or customers, say if you're already doing window cleaning, or if you're already cutting grass, you've got a gardening round, or whatever you're in, you've got contacts, and you can start developing relationships where, well, let's take window cleaning for example. You've got like a small window cleaning round. You can start now saying to your customers, I'm looking to get into pressure washing. I can see your drive's getting a bit mucky, or your patio's a bit slippy. I'm going to purchase some equipment in March to start building my pressure washing business. Can I get a commitment from you to book in at the end of March or whatever? And actually nail them down to, don't give them like a hard sell, but nail them down with a price and a date in your calendar. So actually write it down, or take your phone, book it into your tablet or whatever. Make sure they write it down as well. And so you could, by the time the end of March comes, you could already have 10 or 15 pressure washing jobs lined up that you didn't have before, and you don't even have the equipment yet.
Yeah.
So at least you've got that little bit of a, what do they call it, like a buffer or a net, like a net, like a
safety
support
net.
Safety net, thank you. So that you know if you spend £1,000 on a pressure washer, those jobs come to £4,000 on their own. And so it's already paid itself off before you've even started. So that's like a solid investment. Whereas spending £2,500 on the latest pressure washer, but no one knows you exist. You've got no social media presence. You've got no website. You've got no reviews. You've got no customers. Nothing's changed other than you bought this equipment. It's like, well, I'm not surprised you haven't got any customers yet, because you haven't done anything about it.
Yeah.
Why not get the ball rolling now and then buy the equipment? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also important as well, as I realise now, to take an email address or a telephone number at least to be able to remarket to the same people you've already done work for. See, because in my first year, now I've got repeat customers, and like the gutter jobs have come back twice. I've had multiple driveways to do that I did last year again this year. Obviously, people are now booking in again for this spring. So it's always important to kind of take a telephone number, take an email address, just so that you can send out an email to all of them at once. Note them down on a pipe drive or something like that you've got, and you can remarket to those people.
There's a really good way you can do that for free. I've already spoke about it on my live streams, but if you go into Google Forms or Google Docs, there's a template. It's a free template with if you've got like a Google Drive account, like a cloud account or whatever, all you need is an email address. Go onto Google Forms, and it's already got a pre-made template of like contact information, and so you can take that contact information form, send it to your customer. They fill in their details to like confirm the booking or whatever, and then those details populate onto a spreadsheet automatically if you edit the responses and stuff. It literally takes less than 5 minutes to set up, and
you send it to all the customers before they book in with you, don't you?
Yeah. I'll say to confirm your booking, please fill in this form, and you can edit the fields: name, address, phone number, service that you've asked for, all that sort of stuff, and it automatically populates the spreadsheet. And now you've got those customers' details. That's something I'm really going to be pushing in 2025, because, believe it or not, I don't take my customers' information. The only thing I've done for the last 3 years is put their calendar entry into my calendar. So it's the job, the address. If I'm lucky, I've remembered to put the phone number in there and like the price and stuff. And then that's the calendar entry there. So if I want to get that customer's details, I need to go back through the last 6 months of calendar entries, find the one that I think it might be, double click on it, go into it. Hopefully I've put their name, and hopefully I've put their phone number on there. And so it's like such a bad way of doing it, but I didn't understand how important it was to take your customers' information. I always thought it was a bit slimy. Didn't want to be like all these big companies, like taking all their customers' data, but at the same time, if you want to be proactive when it comes to marketing stuff and upselling services and getting your repeat customers back, it is important to get something like that set up from the beginning, else you'll just be playing catch up.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's the same with, I don't know about you, but with reviews, I dip off a bit. I tend to not always send through a final message or a final email saying, if you could leave us a review, here's the link. I made it as easy as possible for you, but I always forget to kind of, do that all the time. It needs to be something that I'm going to really try to do in 2025, where I always send a final message. Because reviews are so important on Google.
Yeah, I'm bad at following up. Like, I'll ask them before I leave the property. I'll be like, is there anything else you need me to do before I leave? Are you happy with everything I've done? They'll say, no, I'm very happy, thank you. I'll say, okay, I'll figure out payment. I'll either send you my bank details afterwards, or you can use the card machine. I'd be really grateful if you could spend 2 minutes tonight just popping a review on either my Facebook page or my Google page. And they all say, yeah, absolutely no problem. Of course I will, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I send my bank details after the job, I've got a link at the bottom to say, please, reviews are very helpful. Please, would you mind leaving one? And the amount of people that just don't bother. And I know it's not because I've done a bad job, or people are busy, and they've got to pay you, and then they've got to remember to go back to the message and click the link. There's probably a better way that I could be doing it, but I never chase those people up. Once I've asked them, and once I've sent the link, I never follow up, and that's probably really bad.
Yeah, I was also speaking to someone the other day as well that does, like, when you send up a quote and you don't hear back, to try and nail in the same kind of thing where you, not like pester them, but until you get the words no, I haven't actually done this, but this is someone else's opinion, to constantly chase up until you actually hear no, and then that's final. But
I didn't do that until maybe earlier this year, where I'd send quotes and just not hear back. And sometimes they hadn't seen my message, so I'd sent them a message on WhatsApp, and they don't have access to the internet, or they've got a WhatsApp account, but they don't check it.
Yeah.
So I have to either phone them, send it through on a text, or reply to the email that they sent in the first place, and then they respond straight away and accept the 500 quid quote. And it's like, but if I hadn't followed up, I'd have missed out on that whole job.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? It's always like, I haven't really done it. I've started to do it, and I have noticed a bit more success, I can't lie, just from, like you said, people not seeing it, or people who have looked at it while they drive, not while they're driving, but like while they're leaving work, or they're somewhere, like in the garden centre or something, they've looked at it and gone, I'll reply to that later, and forget about it.
I've got this issue where I'm constantly second guessing myself and thinking, oh, I've gone in too high, they're ignoring me.
Yeah.
Or they didn't like, I've sent them some before and after pictures of previous work and it's not very impressive or whatever. I'm always beating myself down thinking that's why they haven't responded.
Yeah.
But actually, they haven't even seen the message.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's always, I do the same, where I think I've priced it too high and don't hear back. But I mean, it's not going to guarantee you success every job, but you might get that one more that you wouldn't get if you did follow up. So it is important to do that. But yeah, anyway, that's the end of Jake's start to life and business. So now, obviously, if you watch Jake and you know a bit about Jake's life, you know that you've seen other Jake, who is Jake's employee. How was that, taking on your first employee? How did you go about, this is time to take someone on, I need help? What kind of led you to that?
It was a bit scary, to be honest, and it's not something I've ever really wanted to do. I thought, I'm quite happy on my own. I'm not interested in expanding. So why would, employing someone sounds so complicated. Why would I bother? And then my brother helped me last winter for 3 months. He came back from Australia and he helped me for 3 months. And I couldn't believe how much quicker we were doing stuff. So for me, back then, if I did like 2 gutter jobs in a day, I was quite happy with that. Like gutter clearing, 2 standard sized properties, I was happy with that. And to be honest, by the end of the day, my arms and shoulders would be quite tired. I'd be like, yeah, it was a solid day's work. When my brother come and helped me, we were like pushing 5 a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are we doing so much more? Like we do the 2 or 3 that I'd booked in because I thought, oh, there's 2 of us now. We can do 3. We do them, and then we'd be like, it's not even midday. Like we could fit so much more in, and I'd underestimated not only my logic was I've only got 1 machine, so I've got 1 pressure washer, so I'm going to be washing while the other person's going to be stood there with a broom. They're not going to be
Yeah.
they're not going to be doing much, but that's not the case at all. It's actually the time it takes for me to go and talk to the customer while the other person's
Packing away or
pulling
something.
all the equipment out of the van, they're hooking up the water supply, they're pulling the hoses out, they're getting everything ready. That's time added onto my day that I've just saved, that would have been added onto my day. Packing stuff away, helping tidy up at the end of the job, like making other jobs so much easier, like clearing gutters. One of you inspecting while the other one's clearing speeds up the job by literally almost 50%, I'd say.
Yeah. I had someone with me on a bit of a trial stage, and obviously I did all the things like it was for roofs, so I did all the like building of the scaffolding and things, but I found that I wouldn't let go of the reins a little bit and let them go on the scaffold and use the pole. Obviously, if you've done a bit of roof clean, you'd know that if you put your foot on the pedal or the trigger, whatever, if you've got the pressure set too high, you're gonna straight up in the air, or you're gonna struggle a little bit and not really know what the pole feels like, and you're gonna be 6 meters up in the sky, not knowing. So that's always been something I was quite scared of. But yeah, I found that they were just pushing a broom. Like the gutter vac was probably the most exciting thing of their day. And
Yeah, and also it's not just sort of handing over the reins, but it's also having someone with you that's proactive and that wants to work. And luckily, I had my brother, and he obviously wants the business to do well, so he's quite he likes to push. We turned up to one of the gutter jobs, and he was like, "Should we just see how fast we can smash this one out?" And he'd set the timer on his phone, and then we'd just go. And it actually sounds sad, but it's quite exciting. It's like, right, how fast can we get the next one done? Can we beat that last one?
yeah, and you realise you can get so much more done.
Yeah, and normal people don't do that. A standard labourer, they just want the day to be over.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about contributing towards the business or helping you necessarily. Maybe some are, but your average chap just wants to come to work, do the job, get paid, go home.
It's like them extra 20 minutes in the van, isn't it, before they get out, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But then so my brother went back to Australia. I was like, okay, I'm back on my own now. I really enjoyed that, and now I'm back to where I was before, and I feel a little bit slower. I feel a little bit more sluggish. Feel a little bit less motivated. My friend Richard, he wanted to start his pressure washing business. I actually sort of convinced him. I said, like, just give it a go, because he wasn't very happy at work either. And he came all the way over from Warsaw to Redditch, maybe like a couple of times, once or twice a week, to help me out on some like repointing jobs and some just pressure washing work, gutter clearing, just to get some experience before he started his venture. And working with Rich, he was very proactive, very nice to the customers. Like you can tell he was going to be a fantastic businessman. So I really enjoyed that. And then our friend's younger brother, Jakey, he used to work at Aldi. He wasn't particularly happy. He was spending quite a lot of time there and working like night shifts and stuff, and didn't really have much of a social life, and didn't really have time to play his rugby, didn't really have time to go to the gym. And she said, he's looking for a new job. And at this point, I was like, I would like that help again. Like I wasn't convinced before, but now that I've had that experience of having someone working with me, someone good working with me, I can see myself employing someone now. So he come out with me on a couple of jobs, and he was really enthusiastic, really polite, very strong, very capable, motivated. And I could see myself having a similar relationship with him as I did with my brother, where it was like we're sort of pushing each other. So I just spoke to my accountant and said, like, not necessarily can I afford it, but what are the costs incurred of like taking someone else on? Is there a lot of admin? And my accountant just went, no, I'll put you through to the payroll department, and they quoted me like £50 a month to do to figure out all the payroll. And so it was just his wages plus £50 a month, no pension contributions because he's not 21.
Yeah.
So he's 19, and so it was just a little bit more admin and stuff, but it's been so worth it. We've been pretty much doubling the workload, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's that thing as well, isn't it? It's in the van, you can egg the other person on. You know, if someone's like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it's getting a bit tired and whatever, the other one, we could come on, mate, we finish this, we get home earlier or something like that, and we just knock the last one out, or just a bit extra push.
But you've got to be wary that not everyone's like that, and some people will be very happy to be like, yeah, let's just do it tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
So not everyone's going to motivate and push you. So I think it's quite important to find the right person. I've absolutely landed on my feet with Jakey. I can't believe how easygoing he is and how hardworking he is. He doesn't touch his phone. He's just like, I say take a break because there's not much you can be doing for like the next 5 minutes. So just go sit in the van for a bit. And he won't. He'll go and start tidying the van, or like disassembling stuff, or like cleaning something.
Yeah.
You just don't sit down, and that's the sort of person you want, really. And I'm going to pay him as much as I can physically pay him going forward as the business grows, because I appreciate how hard he works. You know what I mean?
It's like using your initiative, isn't it, just to do the next thing. But yeah, I think I completely agree with you, because I had someone with me that was, you know, on their phone a lot, and it just wasn't kind of working. I think you know within a day of working with someone if they're going to be good or not. But yeah, it didn't obviously work out, and now I'm still on my own. I am looking for someone, but I'm not like really demanding myself to look for someone. It's gonna come naturally. Like, I'll put out a Facebook post or something like that saying I'm looking for someone, you know, there needs to be this and this, not scared of heights, you know. And yeah, I get a few messages, but the one thing that I have had is a lot of 16, 15-year-olds that are looking for, like, you know, that job that can, their first job kind of thing. But if it comes to a point where I want to expand a little bit more and I want, you know, a second van on the road or something like that, I've then got to take on a third person rather than two. Do you know what I mean?
So that was the issue. But that's an issue with a lot of people who want it. It's cool to say, oh, you want someone super young, fit, enthusiastic, ready to go, that you can pay like minimum wage or whatever. But it's not as easy, because that person is also potentially going to be more unreliable than someone else who's lived throughout their teens, and they've done all their partying and all that sort of stuff. Teenagers are notoriously not great at getting out of bed in the morning. You've got the insurance thing. If you want to get them insured on a van, like we're struggling at the moment to get Jakey insured on a van, I've got to look at fleet insurance and stuff, because it just doesn't make sense to have him driving a van at the minute. It's just astronomical, his quotes have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to find the balance, and I've got a bit of an anomaly with Jakey, because he's not like normal lads that of his age. He's not really interested in social media. He's not spending any time on his phone really, which is unheard of in 2025.
I think this is the thing as well, because I ideally would like someone probably about 25, because the insurance and everything like that kind of narrows down. But I don't know if I'll feel a bit not uncomfortable, or they might feel a bit uncomfortable, because I'm 21 and they're going to be 4 years older than me, learning from me. Do you know what I mean? That
still shocks me every time you say it. 21, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that's the worrying thing for me at the moment, which is why I'm not like forcing it. I'm just going to wait. Like, I booked in a few days ago actually the Royal Mail to deliver all the leaflets. So they're going to go out on the 27th of January, which will take about a week or two for Royal Mail to deliver them all. All of those.
How much that cost you?
I think it was £1,500 to deliver them, and obviously like 250, I think, for the delivery of the leaflets, like the actual from Vistaprint, the leaflet delivery. But yeah, they're going to go out.
250 for the cost of the leaflets.
Yeah.
And then £1,500 for Royal Mail to deliver them out.
Yeah. And then all of those, they should all be out by, let's say, the 5th of February, something like that. And then all of that work, I'm going to try and book in for March, April from then. because I'll be able to see, right, if this is worth it, if 20,000 leaflets a month is worth it, or every couple of months is worth it, I will now take on an employee because I know that I can not almost guarantee work, but I know what's happening and where and how it's coming in. I can be sure that, I can afford an employee, I can afford to put out 20,000 leaflets a month, I'm ready. Whereas I just want to see that it's a bit of a test for me, these leaflets things, because there's no one really in the area similar, like does window cleaning or anything like that, within like Essex, which is where I'm based, that I've asked that have done leaflets like 20,000. There's always been like 5,000, 10,000 is like the max. Mm-hmm. But I think the percentage, I can't remember where I saw it, but the percentage of 20,000 leaflets, even if you get 1% back, and these are like roof cleaning leaflets as well, so it'll probably be less than 1%, it's still absolutely worth it. If you get one job from 20,000 leaflets and it's a roof clean, you most of the time will be near enough making your money back from a roof clean. So I think it's absolutely worth it. But that's where I'm stuck at the moment, of just trying to get to the employee stage, because if I'm going to book in 20 roofs out of those 20,000 leaflets, I'm not, doing them on my own is not going to be fun, because it took me about. Sorry.
Can we talk about marketing, or are we not there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was after the it's fine. But yeah, go on. What's your plans with marketing for this year?
Well, I'm giving leaflets a go. So I've been quite stubborn in the last 3 years, because my growth has been fairly organic, and I love saying that I've never had to pay for any sort of marketing or advertising.
Yeah.
Because I'm very proud of that it's just been hard work, good before and after pictures, and I've managed to do everything pretty much for free. And I think that's a testament to the issue I've got is some people will give the advice that to generate leads or get customers, you must pay for this, you must have a website, you must buy some leaflets, you must run Google ads, and there's all these things that cost money, and I don't believe, I'm an example of it, I don't believe that someone just starting a business day one needs to think about any of that sort of stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so my strategy was just to post before and after pictures and videos on Facebook and try and get like recommendations and stuff. And so it grew sort of fairly organically. Now I've got to the point where, and I think it's really important to have a foundation of good reviews, a good returning customer base, and just a general social media presence where you've got followers and people know your name and all that sort of stuff. And then that is a good basis to then start paying for advertising off the back of. So I didn't even have a website for like the first 2 years, because I wasn't targeting. In my head it was like, if I'm going to have a website, it's going to be for commercial work, and I don't want commercial work yet because my equipment's not good enough and I haven't got enough employees to fulfill like commercial contracts. So I only got a website when I was started to become interested in commercial work. But we just ordered 2,000 leaflets. So this is like my first batch of leaflets that we're going to post. I've had some leaflets before where people will come and ask me, and I'll say, yeah, take a leaflet, or we'll post a couple of doors up, a couple of doors down. But these are the first leaflets where we're actually going to send Jakey out, and he can post a load. And also today, you'll be proud of me. Today, I've just dropped £100 on Google ads.
Ooh.
Sorry, no, on Facebook ads.
Oh, really? Facebook?
Yeah, because I had a strategy. Do you want to know about my strategy?
Go for it.
So, I've spent last week, well, maybe Friday, Saturday, I think, writing a script for a short, or like a reel, like a 60-second, right, so 1 minute 30. Oh, thank you so much. Got a glass of wine. That's all right. I started writing a script for a reel for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I wanted to put it on YouTube, but they cap out at 60 seconds for the shorts.
Yeah.
So I was trying to give myself as much time as possible, so 90 seconds. What I wanted to do, which I think, this is a little nugget, right? This is my prediction. 2025, and future is going to be figuring out how to advertise to people without them knowing they're watching an advert. And I think this is the key. I think this is sort of what I've been doing without really knowing it. So I wrote a script to say, like, this is how I started. It's going really well. I wanted to hit a few topics. I wanted to hit all of the services that I offer, pretty much. So driveway cleaning, repointing, roof cleaning, gutter clearing, all that sort of stuff. I wanted to hit all those topics. I wanted to mention all my 5-star reviews. And I wanted to back it up with some like real satisfying footage to keep people hooked. And so the first 3 seconds of this video was like, I didn't even have a van when I started this business, with some satisfying footage in the background. And so hopefully that gets someone hooked to start watching the rest of the video.
Have you posted this already? I think I might have seen it.
Yeah. So I posted it last night, about 24 hours ago. And this is the first like scripted advert that I've put some real effort into. Like it took me quite a while to edit, get the right clips, record the voiceover, cut it down as quick, like as short and punchy and snappy as possible. And it's really worked. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's because this is what people... I've already had probably 10, 15 leads from it in the last really 24 hours. So Facebook, it's done 231,000 views in 24 hours. TikTok, it's done 282,000 views in 24 hours. And then Instagram, which is never good for me. I never do very well on Instagram. For some reason, it seems to be the worst for me. People love Instagram, but my content never seems to do very well.
Yeah. Did you spend you say you spent £100 on this reel?
No. So these have all been organic views.
Right.
So it's done 43k on Instagram, which my other videos do about 2,000 if I'm lucky. This one's done 43,000, so it's really good Instagram reel, that is, for me. And so the strategy was, I was speaking to my brother the other day. I want to try Facebook ads. I think about a year ago I spent like 14 quid boosting a post.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do much, so I thought I'm going to do it properly this time. I'm going to have a real good video, wait for it to do well, make sure it does well on its own first, and then I'm going to pay to boost that video. And so this is all organic so far, and tonight, about 3 or 4 hours ago, I put 100 quid on it for 7 days, and I'm going to see what happens. And I'll be able to see which leads come in from that boosted video, and which ones come in organically. Yeah.
Well, the idea sounds really good because, as you say, I know the feeling of when people are watching an advert. It's like when you're watching a TV program or something, and then your program is gone for a break or whatever, and then these adverts playing. No one's watching them really. I know that I don't really watch them on my phone and things. So it's really good to like hook someone's attention from something that doesn't say book in now for 10% off or something like that.
And I don't mean trick them, because some will do like some crazy stolen footage from somewhere else that turns into their advert, or like just some clickbait. Crazy first 3 seconds, and then it just turns into like a very generic advert. And I scroll and I think, oh, you're just trying to trick me. And as soon as you realise it's an advert, you carry on scrolling. Whereas what I'm trying to do is tell a story instead.
Yeah.
If you can make it into a story, and it's the same thing I do with all my before and after pictures. If instead of saying, we cleared these gutters today, and then putting your before and after pictures, I think on social media, people stop and they'll read if you put a small, short story about why it was difficult, or where you've been, and just something that makes people care and stop to read. Because as soon as you can tell, a load of people do these ticks, and I've done them in the past as well, where they'll say, gutters cleared, conservatory cleaned, tick, 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 get in touch, here's my number. And it's like, I mean, the pictures are nice, but like, it's not very, you don't want to read that sort of stuff regularly. So once you know that page posts that sort of content, you don't really want to see it again. But if you can tell stories, and people know that you're going to deliver on each post with something that's going to be interesting, then they'll keep coming back and stopping to read the content, I think. And that's subconsciously, that's been my strategy without even realising. So now I'm trying to implement that into my videos and just make the videos a little bit higher quality.
I think that's a really good way of doing, almost like you say, with that, if you ignore the £100 you've put on tonight, a really good organic way of marketing using Facebook. Like you've engaged someone that's seen it for the first time, they're engaging your story, and as you say, it's not just going to, book in 10% off, whatever, anything like that. You've gone from, I didn't even have a van. I think that was your first line, wasn't it? I didn't even have a van when I first started.
Yeah. And
then it goes through. It is like a story. It's like a timeline of your whole business life.
Yeah.
And obviously, people are interested.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That's all right.
Delay.
I was only going to say people are really interested to know kind of the people that have work around their house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're interested to know a bit about them.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll even catch myself about to do an adverty thing where I'll leave my phone number or say get in touch or send me a DM or contact me now, and I don't like reading that sort of stuff, so I've got to catch myself and think, no, don't put that, because then it sounds too marketing talk, and that's not what people come to this page for. I mean, if you can do some sort of little, I don't know what the word is, it's not a story, it's not inherently like a story, it's more just like a caption that's actually interesting to read, that you've put some effort into, and then back that up with some good before and after pictures or a good video. I think that is the key to marketing without people thinking they're being advertised to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I say, organic marketing wise, that is the best thing you can probably do without spending anything. A video that people are going to watch on the social media page that they're scrolling on, kind of thing, is because people paid to get those 200,000 views you got on Facebook. But it will be the reason why they paid to get those views is because it's either not a very good campaign, such as like video or something like that, or it's just gone on a bad audience. That tends to happen sometimes. But I think that's a great organic way of, like I say, hitting customers that you want to hit, if you know what I mean, because you're trying to get people that are actually interested in the story of your business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and boosting that and promoting that to people in my area is very powerful. But what was I going to say? Yeah, making sure the content is high quality first, like good audio, good visual, and a good caption with some, I don't know how worthwhile hashtags are, but making sure the content is good first before just pouring money into boosting or running ads on a post that is like subpar. You might get some work from it, but it's not what it could be.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something else as well. That was it. And this isn't. Some people might say like, "Oh, you've already got a big following on social media and stuff, so it's easy for you." It's not the case.
No.
Anyone with 0 followers on an account can put a good video out there or a good post that hits, and it's just about making sure the post and the content is good. One of my first posts on TikTok before I had like any followers is now on like 26 million views.
I think I had a look the other day. Yeah, it was one of the
27 million, and it's like one of my early ones, and I had like no followers at that point. And anyone can do it. It's just about making sure the content's good. That's all.
I did a bit of road sign cleaning earlier this year, and that did surprisingly really well. On TikTok it hit 1.9 million, and I can't really work out a way to see it on Facebook. I was just trying to have a look, but I mean, yeah, to have a video that I thought would do the average 5,000 views max, to hit 1.9 million was really good. But it didn't actually. It's a completely different video because that was just a satisfying watch Whereas, if you're getting that amount of views on that specific story-based video, and like you say, you got 15 leads, didn't you, from that in 24 hours?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like a lot of those views, most of those views are going to be nowhere near my location, so they're going to be pointless. They're going to increase engagement on the page and stuff, but the views and the positive comments on this one post is insane. On TikTok, it's normally everyone trying to slate you and say you're doing something wrong, but every single comment has been super positive, and so this one's like farming engagement where it's getting so many likes. Everyone's commenting saying, well done, love your story, this, and this, which is showing it to more people. And if you can just make something that people want to interact with, where they don't feel like they're being advertised to, it's so powerful.
And I just see that on Facebook now. You got 132 comments on that Facebook post.
It's wild.
Yeah, and every single one is very positive as well.
Yeah. If you go onto your Facebook page, and then towards the top, go onto videos. So instead of looking at the post, just go onto videos. That's where you can see all the.
Oh yeah, I see. It's because I've got introducing to Advertiser Success Centre and all this suggested stuff. But yeah, it hasn't done. It's only done 7K, but I didn't, like I say, it wasn't like meant to do well. If you know, I didn't have like an intention to do for it to do well. But I remember I got so much slander on one on TikTok, like you say.
I remember you said
on a roof clean, and the amount of comments I got saying you're destroying this roof, etc. But that did well, but obviously it's in a negative way.
But it doesn't matter. It's engagement, and it's going to put that post in front of more people. And regardless of where those people are located, you've got a video that does well. Like I thought, TikTok's, it's not going to generate any work really, because it's just millions of people from America and China and whatever. They're not going to see it. But the more engagement it generates, the more it snowballs, and the higher chance that someone's going to see that video in your area, in your radius of work, and they will contact you. I've had 6 messages today on TikTok alone, just from people saying, "Do you cover like Dudley? Do you cover Hales Owen?" And I'm not going to advertise in Hales Owen. People, it's about 40 minutes away from me. That is, and they're not going to get a leaflet from me. They're outside of my radius of work generally, so I'm not really. I'd never have reached them before, but now they found me on TikTok. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, with this
crazy.
These leaflets, you said that you and Jakey are going to go distribute them yourself.
I'm going to ask. I've asked him if we've got a few quiet days coming up, which we have. Like we haven't got a whole lot of work booked in for the beginning of January, because at the end of December I wanted to slow down a bit, and obviously when you have a slow period and you're not looking at your phone as much and you're not pushing, the period after that is also slow because it's like natural. But we've got the last week we've done about $7,000 worth of. Well, we've done about 15 grand's worth of quotes, and we've still got work coming in. Loads of messages to respond to, but we've booked about 6 or 7 grand's worth of work for either January or spring. But from now until like mid-January, it's quiet, and so I thought I'll get that period. Jakey's being paid regardless of whether he comes to work or if he stays at home. Yeah. He's on a minimum 30-hour contract, and so he's still getting paid. So I'd rather utilise him during this quiet period, send him out, target some very specific houses and areas, and get him to post some leaflets.
Yeah, because with this Royal Mail campaign, you can choose where, like, the postcode you go for. You can't narrow it down any more than that. So I actually chose places that were 40 minutes away either side. So I chose, for me, where I am, Ipswich is about a 30-minute drive, and then I hit this posh area. It's kind of a bit more built-up area, which has got loads of really nice houses in it. So that's one of the areas I've gone for, which I actually drove around to look for these areas, because, you know, you kind of, if you're going to pay this much to market, you want to make sure it's going to hit the areas that you want to hit. Because if I chose Ipswich Town Centre, there's a lot of commercial places and, you know, all things that you don't really want to target. So there's one place which is 40 minutes.
Terraced houses where there's no real gardens, and there's no driveways, and
Yeah.
no access to the back, and like they're just awkward houses. They've not really got. There'll be lower ticket jobs. They've not really got much to clean, and the access is always a pain. The parking's a nightmare. Like you want to totally avoid those ones.
That's the thing, yeah. So this area is they're all like detached houses and things, and then the other side is another 40 minutes. But this is a small area, so I think 11,000 are going to this side in Ipswich, and I think I only put out 17,000, not 20,000, because I wanted to keep 3,000 for myself, just to do like 10 houses a side of the house after I finish a job and things. But this other area is a bit different. It's like there's 2 estates in this one postcode, so I've specifically targeted those. And I think there's only about 9,000 have gone. No, sorry, not 9,000. I think 11,000 have gone to this other place, and then the rest have gone to this other place, the other side, which is another 40 minutes away. But because it's so far away from it, it's out of my region, as you said, like the people in Dudley wouldn't text you normally, I think it's going to help expand a bit more, because I'm at a dead end where I live. It's like you have to come out of town to go anywhere. So you have to come out of town to go to Colchester or Ipswich, which is the places where they both are. So I'm trying to expand my reach further out to, the closer to London kind of way, if you know what I mean. Because I would never reach those people, and I can target them on Google Ads and things, but they would never have heard of me, because my rankings on Google would be like 10th or something like that, because I'm so far away from their location. So this is a bit of another test I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, with your, how many leaflets you say you got? 2,000.
Only 2,000 at the minute, because I knew they were going to be handed out by hand.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I kind of wish I could have a bit more control over, because I'd actually like to, drive down a road and say, right, all of this road needs doing, but not the next road. And then, do you know what I mean?
Have you got any younger siblings or cousins or someone that you can send out and say, I'll give you, if you get all these leaflets posted over the next week, I'll give you £100.
Yeah, no, I haven't really, no. The only thing I've thought of is actually just taking someone on for a week. Just, paying them for a week. Like, I always looked at these companies that actually go out and distribute leaflets, like Royal Mail do, but they're like separate companies, if you know what I mean. So it's their own individual business, and they go out and do it. And I wanted to give them like 5,000, but I wanted to like have a meeting with them and kind of say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do this road, don't do this area. But it's so expensive to be able to pick that, and it's just not really worthwhile. So I think that's why I've kept the other 3,000 to do myself.
How about that old mate that you mentioned that you saw the other day that asked you for some advice? Could you contact him and say, do you want to earn a quick £100?
Possibly.
All these routes, all these areas that I want to hit. Do you mind going and putting them out by hand?
The only thing that I think that might affect is actually, because he's still in a full-time job and he's trying to start his business, is he might put mine out with his. And
yeah.
This is the only thing. But with Royal Mail, again, I don't know exactly, but I did speak to a few people in that area. Well, actually, no. One of them is in Manningtree, which is a town about 20 minutes away from where it is. And I said, how many leaflets actually do you get to go out? And they said it's normally about 2 or 3 at once to go out. But he said the area that you're working in, we never really get leaflets to distribute from that sector, if you know what I mean. So it should be in their face a bit more often than not. But then again, I still don't know.
That's my worry. My worry with like getting someone like Royal Mail or something to hand out leaflets is they're going to be in a stack of other leaflets, and they're all just probably going to end up in the bin, which that's my concern with that sort of stuff. But honestly, I've not put too much thought into it, because I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of all the traditional marketing methods. I think I'm writing a script for a video at the moment where I think all these methods, having a website, running Google Ads, posting leaflets, advertising at your local whatever, I think these have all been working for generations, and all this advice gets passed down. But I don't think we're stepping back and looking at the age that we're in and the technology that we've got available and utilising it and adapting, which is why I wanted to specifically try and leverage reels, social media, photos, and let the content sort of speak for itself, rather than trying to. I don't like the idea of knocking on people's doors and trying to get sales from that sort of thing. I've never been a fan of all the traditional stuff, like sending emails. Like when I get emails, people marketing to me, I delete them and I unsubscribe from them, and they go to my spam, and it's like, it feels like such a waste of energy where I could make something that is actually enjoyable to look at and watch, and that will naturally generate work rather than trying to force people, like trying to trick people into buying from me or something, or have to lower my prices or give them discounts and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It feels like we're better than that now. We've got more options now.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I feel like the content side of things, I find it much more enjoyable to, edit these videos. I prefer long form videos than short form videos. I'm going to be honest. I have no enjoyment from making TikTok videos, really. The only enjoyment I had was when I did that day one of trying to find a footballer to let me clean them house. I've actually got that next week. I'm meeting up with a footballer. I can't really say too much. Actually, no, this will go out after. So he's a Premier League footballer who's going to be in a video with me. We're going to do a challenge. And if he wins, I do it for free. If I win, he pays full price.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's a bit weird. But I got that all from TikTok, and obviously that's all. It's getting in people's faces, but it's for a different reason than just work. Do you know what I mean? It's like.
Have you heard of Ollie Watkins?
Yeah.
He lives in the next town over from me, and the guy that does his gardening and his grounds maintenance has asked me to quote his drive.
Oh wow, that would be incredible. Ollie Watkins is obviously he scored, didn't he, for England in the Euros this year.
Yeah.
So
I told my dad, I was like, "Do you know this footballer?" He was like, "Oh my god." My younger brother as well. He's like a super fan. He's like, "Can you take us with you when you do the job?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." What are you going to do? Just like sit in the van and wave out the window? It's so crazy.
Yeah, I've had a few people ask me and say, "Can you say hello to him? Can you have a picture of him or something like this?" I was just like, "No, it's not happening." But yeah, I mean,
what I will caveat that with is I still understand and appreciate that all that other stuff works. I know email marketing can work. I know Google Ads work. I know leaflets work. It's just I feel like there's easier, less expensive ways of doing things, and because I always pivot my content towards people who are just starting, I don't want them to think that those are the only options.
Yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
it definitely does work, as we've seen, because you've done really well and grown fully organically, like you said. I think, like you say, you spent, was it tenner last year, and now you spent £100. It's £110 over, what was it, 3 years you've been going?
Yeah, they're like 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Yeah, so that's incredible, really. I mean, I haven't ever spoke to anyone that's done that. That's like really good.
That is a little bit of a lie, because I've been spending like £13 a month to host my website. So that's, I suppose, also a form of advertising. But I've only had that about a year now, I think, my website.
Yeah, I remember when we did your live stream, I had a look at your website rankings and all the information and stuff. And I think you ranked really highly in the whole of Birmingham, which isn't actually too close to you, is it? It's still quite. Is it too far?
It's like it's probably about, you get into Birmingham 5 to 10 miles away, I suppose. So it's kind of close, but I think a lot of that is to do with me trying to be everywhere. Like I'm TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. I'm trying to do all of them a little bit at the same time, and so you type in my name and everything comes up. All my videos come up, my Facebook page comes up, my Google page comes up, and it's like, I didn't want that at first, actually. That's something that might be interesting to people. I thought I'm going to keep my YouTube separate from my business. And do you know what it was? This is crazy to think about now, because this is the advice that I gave my sister when she started a business recently. I said, you're scared to do stuff because you're worried about what your friends from school are going to think.
Yeah.
Or your old Facebook mates from school. Everyone that you've got on your personal profile. She didn't want to make TikTok videos because she didn't like the sound of her voice. And she didn't want people to see them. And I can totally relate, because I understand. When I first started my Facebook page and stuff, I didn't want to share my page on my personal profile because I didn't want anyone to see what I was doing. But as soon as I got over that and I stopped giving a shit about what everyone thought, I thrived.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to share this. I'm going to get my mum to share it. I named my YouTube the same as what my business was, pretty much, because I thought, no, I'm going to start making content. I'm going to post it everywhere. It's all going to be under the same umbrella. People are going to know where to find me if I do get work from all these other places. And I just embraced it.
Yeah.
And I think if you spend your life thinking about what other people are thinking of you, you're living in a shadow, and you're going to allow other people that you don't even care about, and you don't actually care about their opinion, you're going to let them control your life.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I freed myself of that, I thrived, and my sister's done the same recently.
I started out by posting all over Facebook and all that, Instagram, everything, my personal accounts, and my friends have honestly been so supportive. It's like ridiculous. I did obviously the first time I was like, oh my god, they're all going to take the piss and whatever else. But no, they honestly have been so supportive. And every time I bump into someone that I like, don't like you half know someone, like they're like a few years older than you or something like that. Everyone always says, wow, this is really good or whatever. And they all watch the videos and everything like this and all supportive and things.
I think I've also got this thing where I assume people just don't like me.
Yeah.
So I've heard other people have got this as well, where they walk into a room and just assume people know them and don't like them.
Yeah.
And I've got a little bit of that as well. But actually, the amount of comments I get, and like you say, you see people that you haven't seen for a while, and they go, "Oh, you're doing so well, aren't you? I love your videos." And it's like, "Oh, I didn't expect that from you."
Yeah. That exact feeling, yeah. But yeah, I mean, my friends have all, they're all like my age kind of thing, and they always ask. Like, I've got an accountant friend who's just started an accountancy course and everything like that, and I'm always talking to him about money things and what's the best thing to do. I've got other friends that like cut down trees and things, which sometimes I actually pass work to them. If like I've got a customer and they say something about the tree, because I used to be in a farming job, I do know a bit about trees and things like this and like gardens and whatever else. So yeah, I do pass work between them, and it's a bit surprising because everyone, all my friends are so supportive. As I say, I honestly get advice from them too, not like business advice. I wouldn't quite say business advice, but it's like things that I don't know about, like accountancy, like I say, and other things.
And the cool thing about starting a business and genuinely working hard is that people want to see you succeed. And that was the thing about a lot of the some advice about quoting stuff. I was telling people, just be honest. Like, if you've not done something before, be honest with your customer and just say, I can have a go, but I haven't actually done that yet.
Yeah.
Or I haven't bought the equipment yet, but I'm happy to give it a go for you. And people would rather you be honest than try and bullshit them and say, oh yeah, it's you need to use this stuff, and and just pretend like you know what you're talking about, because people can see through that so quickly.
I remember sorry. Go on, carry on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, I did this once, actually twice. The first time was a repointing job, and they went ahead with it. But the second time, it was someone that had, like, their block paved driveway had all become, like, distanced, if you know what I mean. And they wanted to lift it all up, lay sand underneath it again, and re-put down the blocks. And I said to them, I don't know why I said it, but I was like, I'm happy to give it a go for you, but I've never, ever done it before. Obviously, I have to charge for it, but it won't be anywhere as near as much as anyone else would that knows what they're doing. I'm just going to... It's a bit of a learning step for me. They didn't go ahead, but next time I drove past, they still booked in for me to clean their driveway after they'd done it, but he actually did it himself. And he said that it took him 7 whole days in order to do it. And I was like, thank God I actually didn't take that on, because I would have been in a sticky mess, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but people appreciate the honesty, and my point was, as long as you're honest and as long as you work hard, people want to see you succeed. Your old mates from school, they want to see you succeed. The little old biddy that you've just done a bit of work for, she's happy to pay you and she wants to see you do well. And I just assumed that the customer was my enemy, but they're not. They're more like your friend, and it's important to like build relationships with your customers. Yeah. I went to see one from earlier this year today with my brother to quote his roof and stuff. And my brother was like, God, he's a very nice, genuine, down to earth bloke, isn't he? I was like, yeah, like these are the sort of customers that I want to really maintain good relationships with, because they'll recommend you to everyone. Like, he recommends me to all his neighbours. He takes cards so that he can hand them out at work. And like, you really have got to build those relationships with your customers, I think, and just, yeah, integrity, honesty, the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, I've got a couple customers that are next door neighbours. I went round their estate the other day, which I did some previous work for this year. Dropped some leaflets around. They saw my van, and they text me saying, "Are you on my estate? Do you fancy having a cup of tea?" So I walked over there when I was done, and honestly, I was in the house for about 2 hours just talking about general things, the cost of living,
lovely.
whatever else. But yeah, I mean, it's always great to have customers like that, because you realise that you are making a good relationship, and you always have like a networking system with good friends that you've done work for, if you know what I mean, because you're chatting to them about what your next plans are, this and that. Like, my friend the other day, I was speaking to her, and she wants something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also some people, I think, mistake honesty and like fairness. I think they mistake it for weakness, or feeling like you have to give discounts and like do them favors and stuff, and that's not what I mean. I don't think you should ever let a customer take advantage of you.
Oh no, definitely not.
But it's important to, like, I'm not cheap. I'll be the first to admit that a lot of my customers can quite easily find a cheaper quote if they go to the next bloke.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm the guy that will get the job done and do it really well. I'll turn up on time. I'll be punctual and smart, presentable, and friendly. Yeah, all the stuff that you want from a tradesman. And in return, I just want to get paid well for the job that I'm doing. And you just want respect from your customers. And if you turn up and it's not how they said it was, or they're trying to add other stuff on at the same time, like, I'll still be nice to that person, but I'm going to be very firm and fair and say, look, this is going to cost a bit more because this wasn't on the original quote and stuff. Occasionally, like, my brother took the piss out of me last year because he was saying he kept calling it Smelty's freebies, because I do quite often just do little extras for customers if I like them. So yeah, it's not to say allow people to take advantage. It's more just to say be fair and try and build relationships with people. Because I mistook that at first. I thought, to try and build relationships with your customer is to try and give them discounts and be cheaper and do them deals and stuff. But that's not it at all. It's literally just taking 5 extra minutes to talk to them and to ask them what they've been up to and stuff. Like, it's just being a normal, nice human being rather than just trying to treat it all as a transaction.
I think I'm going to try and almost give my old school and stuff. I emailed my old primary school and high school and basically said, look, I'm willing to, they wanted a few bits done. They did actually ask me if they wanted a few bits done. I went in there and I said, look, I'm willing to give you a discount because obviously I know the school. Some of the teachers are still there that I still know and things, and it's just a bit of giving back to the community, because like I've had about 3 or 4 teachers that I used to have as a regular window cleaning round, and I've had a couple teachers individually that have had their driveway cleaned. I haven't had any that have had their roof cleaned, but it's been like, it's been nice to have like these people that have known me from about 10 years ago and want to kind of help and see you succeed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's been really nice. But yeah, I've got a couple of quotes to actually not follow back up on, but we've kind of, schools work in a bit of a weird way. I don't know if you've kind of had any issues, but I quoted in like August, but they didn't want it done till March, so I'm still waiting.
They're very specific about term time and about make sure it's when the kids are off. And the worst one is when you get like a couple or more than a couple schools get in touch and you go around and do the whole quoting process, because they don't just want one thing done, they want several other things doing it as well. Actually, some of them want one thing done, but then I'll be like, do you need that doing? Do you need that doing? Do you need that doing? And it will turn into like several jobs.
Yeah.
And so you spend all that time doing the quote, submitting it, and they say, oh yeah, we don't want it done we don't want it done now. We want it done when the kids break up during this 2-week period. Like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, we can book you in for that. And then the other schools that you quoted want the exact same 2-week period. And so suddenly you've got this mammoth amount of work that you've got to do, and you've got to try and squeeze it into like 1 or 2 weeks while the kids are off. And so it's very difficult when you start dealing with schools. And also the issue with schools is they pay when they're ready. Like,
yeah.
30-day terms, and usually it's longer than that. If someone's on holiday or... God, I had one that the bloke went on holiday. No, that was it. It got missed. So they missed the invoice. And then the bloke that deals with the invoices went on holiday. And I was chasing up. And then when he got back off holiday, I chased up again. He was like, yeah, the accounts don't get done until the 28th of the month. I'm like, yeah, but I submitted it 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, sorry, it's been missed. And so in the end, it took 3 months for me to get paid on this one job. And it was a lot of money as well. And I was fuming.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you obviously think, don't you, normally it comes in your account within 2-3 days max, really.
Yeah.
And then
and you invest so much time into these jobs, and when you're a small business, and sometimes these jobs, these bigger jobs, you'll spend 600-700 quid, $2,000 on some new equipment just for that job, just to be able to fulfill that job. And then if you don't get paid for another 3 months, it's like you're just sat broke, hoping more jobs come in and just to supplement your income. It's a difficult position to be in, really.
Yeah, I had these huge netball courts that I quoted for. I didn't win it in the end, but they would have taken probably a good week of the machine being on for 8 hours a day, just because they were like 36 by 16, but there was 3 of them, and obviously gravel and tarmac and all this, and the amount of aggregate that will come up from this tarmac and things. And it would just have been me. I was actually quite glad I didn't win it in the end.
Yeah,
but,
I was just about to say, you probably dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, and if I'd have done that, and they still wouldn't have paid me now, because we were going to do it in the November half term, is it? Something like that. If that was in the same situation, that would have been for quite a lot of money, and I still wouldn't have had it. And that would have really, been quite harsh, I feel like.
Yeah. I am keen to... I mean, I think I'm still in talks with my brother, and we're trying to negotiate some sort of deal where it works for both of us, where he can come on board and try and generate some more like commercial work, because he's good at all that sort of stuff. And so I am keen to get some, like, I did an industrial unit earlier this year before I took Jakey on, and I really enjoyed it. It was like cladding on the side of this industrial unit. It was loads of tarmac and concrete, and I was in and out within like half a day, but it was like a big area, but it was just easy surfaces to clean, because it needs to be like maintainable, because it's for like a commercial business where trucks are coming in and out all day and stuff, and so it's like these surfaces are built to last, and so they don't install stuff that gets dirty quickly, and I'd like to do more of that sort of stuff. So that'll be my goal for 2025, I think, is do more cool commercial jobs.
Yeah, I had one that was a swimming pool at a primary school, and all the water had gone green. I think this is quite a while ago. I might have spoke to you about it actually, but I had no idea what I was doing, and obviously, like, it's around kids and stuff, and obviously I wanted to be like, if I'm going to do this job, I'm going to take all the time to do it, and it's going to be like a wicked transformation. I want to record it, and they got a bit funny about that, I think. Obviously, it's like boarded off and things because it's a swimming pool. Like it is outdoors, but yeah, they just didn't go ahead of it. But I think it would have been a cool video to kind of do. Yeah. Cool job.
Are you DBS checked?
I am, but I'm not enhanced.
Yeah.
But because we used to go to like care homes and things and like hospitals and stuff, my old job, I've still got my DBS from there. So it's just a case of redoing it and doing the enhanced one if I ever. But it shouldn't. It only takes 7 days to upgrade it. I read from a normal DBS to an enhanced one.
Yeah, I think mine went through in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with schools. It's you've got to jump through all the hoops and the paperwork and the health and safety, and they'll either want a DBS check or they'll want you to do it during the holidays or on the weekend. But then trying to get them to do it on a weekend, it's like they've got to call the caretaker in and make sure all the gates are unlocked, and like can be a bit of a nuisance, but
Yeah.
they are big ticket jobs and stuff. Like the last school we did was about 1,600 quid, and then this one, 1.5 days work, and then the next school that we got off the back of that was 2.5 grand, which was 2 days work, and so you can't really complain. Like,
No.
they didn't really ask for much either. They weren't bothered about a DBS check because we were doing it on a Sunday, and we were allowed to get up on the roof and use our ladders and stuff. And they asked for method statements and stuff. But when I quoted it, I sent, here's a template of the method statements I usually send, but I'm not going to fill everything out until you've accepted the quote. And then they accepted the quote and never ended up asking for any documents, so that saved me some time.
Yeah.
But you can't underestimate that as well. Like just making those, even if you've got a method statement template, which my brother sorted out for me, it still takes time to adjust everything and add the details. And I mean, you might even want to add some money on just for the cost of your time to do that as like an admin surcharge or whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure I have been asked one of them, but I said I'd only do it if we went ahead with the job because it would have taken me some time to do it, and it would have been such a waste of time if I didn't get the job. Do you know what I mean? But I haven't, like I said, I haven't actually done a school yet, so.
Yeah, they're hit and miss, I think, in my experience, but they can be worth it.
Yeah. Anyway.
And all schools are different. Sorry, just a
Go on.
quick one. All schools are different. Some of them will ask you for everything, and others are like, no, yeah, just crack on, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need any like health and safety documents whatsoever. And it's like, okay, I like this one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, sometimes it can be really over the top. Well, I say over the top. This all needs to be done, doesn't it? It's like risk assessments and things.
Well, some people have got health and safety personnel in the school that are trying to justify their job, and so they need to put all this stuff in place to make themselves feel important. And like part of it is like, yeah, some of it needs to be done, but you're going a bit overboard with all this stuff, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, and I've got 2 more questions left. And then I think how long are we going for? We're going for an hour and 37 minutes. I've got.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
So yeah, what if you had a biggest regret when you started up to now of what you would have done slightly differently or completely differently? Do you have a single regret at all?
I've got one, although I tell myself I don't have regrets because every experience that I've had, regardless of whether it's been a positive one or a very negative one, they've all taught me a lesson, and so I wouldn't have done anything differently because I value even the stuff that's happened that's been really bad. It's taught me something. There's always a lesson.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to, instead of just regretting stuff, it's important to learn from those mistakes and just not repeat them. There was one job, I did a YouTube video on it in Wales, and very big repointing job.
Oh, just the Indian sandstone one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the customer rang me like 2 days later to say the jointing compound still hasn't set. And it had been very heavy rain the whole time I was there, and for like another 5 days after I'd left. And I just said, so I kept reassuring him, saying like, it's just the weather, it'll be fine. And he said some of it's washed out in places. And I was like, look, I'm sorry, it's the weather. There's not a lot I can do about it. As far as I'm concerned, I've done what I've quoted. I've done what I said I was going to do. I can't drive another 2 hours down to you to rectify like a little area and stuff. And it just doesn't make sense. And in the end, he just didn't respond. And I had the impression that he wasn't very happy. We didn't get into an argument or anything, but I got the impression that he weren't very satisfied. But also, in the back of my mind, that job was about 900 quid. And there's 250 square metres of Indian sandstone repointing. 900 quid. I think he paid for the materials. That should have been about 2.5-3 grand, that job should.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm thinking, if 90% of it is good, he's got a bargain. And so that was the justification to myself. But I'm still not happy that I didn't follow it up, didn't ask him how it was after a couple of weeks, and that I didn't offer to go back because I still don't know it. I don't know how it looks now. It could be a total disaster. He could have had to have someone else come and redo it all because it never set. I have no idea what happened. Now that I've found that Titan stuff, the jointing compound that sets super hard with the epoxy, I'm a lot happier offering that service now. But I didn't have much faith in the stuff that I used at the time. It was the sicker jointing compound.
Yeah. Does that Titan stuff work on a permeable and non-permeable base?
It works on both, I believe. Yeah,
On
I think
both.
it says that on the website. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a bit of an issue in places where I use that dynamic joint it something, and in some places it's not like it hasn't set, but there's just a weed growing through for no reason. So I said to him I'd come back and do the areas that have done that, and
that's good of you. That is so good to commit to doing that.
We are waiting until March though, because the weather will be a bit warmer. It's a bit horrible putting your knees on the ground and things in that in torrential rain.
Yeah, and the reason I regret that is because I'm forever going on about integrity and honesty and doing the right thing for the customer. And that's the one job where I feel like I've really let myself down. It was quite early on in my journey, but I would do it differently now.
Yeah. But then again, it's taught you a lesson from then on, hasn't it? It's taught you that first of all, you got to price it right because you know that, like you say, it was a bit of a bargain for him. And secondly, you know, if something happened or whatever, the weather conditions weren't quite right, you now know that, you know, the weather needs to be this or that. It's like when you seal a patio or something like that. If the ground temperature will always be warmer than what the actual temperature is outside, isn't it? That's
yeah.
So
yeah, and now I know more and I'm more experienced. And also, I'd have taken someone with me. I can't believe I did that much repointing on my own.
Yeah.
I'd already booked an extra 2 nights in the hotel. I budgeted 3 nights. No, I budgeted 2 nights, and I had to book an extra 2 nights, I think.
Yeah.
And so it was costing me money. I'd underquoted it, and it was costing me hotel money. And I was just in the rain the whole time, absolutely miserable. And I thought, there's no way I'm going back. No way.
No.
I've done what I can. I've done what I said I was going to do, and I don't know. It haunts me, that job does.
Yeah, because I remember
I don't know how it looks.
I spoke to you actually about a point in price, a repointing like price, how much to charge per square metre and stuff. And it actually followed on from that about the solar panels, because I was charging I think it was about £7 a panel. And what did you said yours is a bit
17 I am.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm never doing solar panels again. That's it. There's no way, if that's all I've got going to earn from it, and I'm there for hours and hours scrubbing the same motion all the time, I don't like it. But then I realised
I know that's too expensive. £17 is more than everyone else is charging, but I don't want to do it for any less. It's just not worth it for me.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
See, I don't mind charging a bit less for roof cleaning now. I think what I used to charge, and I didn't have as much success from it, obviously, because it was a bit more over than what I do charge now. But I actually don't mind the roof cleaning job at all. I kind of enjoy it. So I now don't. I charge. It's about £7.50 per square metre, then times 1.2 for the pitch and things like that. So it's about, you know, it's less than some people, but it's more than other people. So I feel like it's about right. And I don't.
Right, yeah.
And every time I complete a job, I don't feel like, I could have got a bit more for that. I kind of undercharged a bit.
And your equipment's getting better, so you're more comfortable using it. And yeah, the more experience you get, the more comfortable you get doing the job.
Yeah, and it's quicker as well now compared to what it used to be. So, you know, you can be in and out in a day. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it takes 3 days. Sometimes it takes 2, you know. But yeah, I mean, I feel more comfortable now. I know all my prices now as well. That's one thing. Because, like, I think sometimes you have to you have to be in error to work out what you should be charging for things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
experience, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, have you got any plans for 2025? Have you got anything that you want to achieve or do or not do as much?
I want to employ my brother.
Well, really?
I don't want to sink the business at the same time. I can afford to pay him what he wants, but I don't know if an accountant would tell me it's a good move at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to just suck all of the profit out of the business just to be able to work with my brother, but also I know he's going to elevate the business to another level.
Is that as a full time on the tools, or is that it is? Yeah.
No, it's he'd be a labourer as well. When we need three of us on a job, he'd be joining us. But a lot of his work will be admin, taking care of all my receipts, the accounts, the spreadsheets, quotes, sending out emails, looking for leads. While I'm here now, talking to you, I can see messages popping up that he's responding to, and the last message said, "Wow, that was a quick response." And
yeah, he's on top of it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So does that mean that are you giving him the admin role, and you're going to stay more on the tools, or is it a complete 50-50 split, or are you more admin based and he's more?
So he's super hungry he loves landing. He's a project manager.
Yeah.
And so he loves landing big jobs. He loves, I wouldn't say squeezing as much money out of the customer as possible. That's not really fair, but he loves seeing where he can make savings and seeing where he can add a bit of fat on to make the job worth the journey and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He last year he was up at he sent me a list of emails that he'd sent out at 9:30 at night on a weekend, just because he wanted to.
Yeah.
I asked him to do nothing, and he emailed. The other night he emailed 230 libraries in Worcestershire, Warwickshire, and the West Midlands, and he loves it. He loves this stuff, and he suggested the other day. He's like, "Yeah, when you drop me off at the end of the day, just give me all your receipts. I'll add them to the spreadsheet." He's already transformed my spreadsheet. I had a very basic, rudimentary profit and loss report, and where I just type in all my receipts and file them away in these little folders. Very basic, and he's put all the formulas in to generate reports and stuff at the end, and he's categorized everything into fuel, wages, lunch, and so we can see now exactly how much money I'm spending and exactly how much money I'm getting from which types of jobs. And already the clarity that he's brought into the business and the leads that he's pulling in from out of his arse, he's just pulling them from nowhere. He's signing up to all these websites. He sent a letter the other day to this local pub, very well-known branch. You can't send them an email. You can't. A lot of places they'll ask you to fill out their contractor form to become an approved contractor or whatever. They'll ask you for all this information. And this pub just didn't have one. They didn't have a link. They didn't have a website, an email address. And he eventually found that there's a small footnote to say, if you need to get in touch or whatever, please send a letter to our head office at this address. And so he's printed off a letter. He's posted a letter advertising our services, saying, "We saw your mossy roof in Redditch. We really want to clean it. We can give you a discounted price." And this is a massive, it's a massive chain of restaurants and pubs and stuff. And he's doing that work. And he's looking into petrol stations, about getting the license to be able to clean petrol stations, because you need a license for that.
Special, yeah.
And it's all stuff that I just don't have the capacity to even think about, and he's just doing it on the side.
It sounds like he'd be an invaluable asset. It sounds like he really would push you on, I think, because you're almost doing email marketing, but you're not doing it, and he's getting these replies back as well, which is great, because obviously most of the time if someone sends an email to someone, they're not going to reply. So if he's getting replies, that means he's constructing his email well and whatever else, and he loves doing it, for one. And if someone loves doing something, they're going to do their best at it. Whereas I feel like if you employed someone that you didn't know, and especially because he's your brother as well, obviously he wants to see you succeed, if you employed someone you didn't know, I feel like the emails would slightly slacken as time goes on.
Have you heard of Olsenham estate agents?
No.
It's probably local to me. I thought they were all over the UK, but I don't think they are. He sent an email to him last year and filled out their approved contractor form. And now I'm getting work from this estate agent, like semi-regularly, like maybe one job every couple of months.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm friendly with them now. I go into the branch in Barnt Green and they email me and stuff, say, can you give us a quote for this? And it's like, that would have never happened if Zach hadn't have developed that relationship.
Yeah.
And so I know he's going to be really good for the business, but the thing I can't get my brain past is all that profit that I'm making per month, and I can see it going up and down, up and down. I'm going to end up just giving most of that to Zach. And it's like, all the hard work I've done, and then I'm just going to sort of stagnate. But that's not going to be the case because he's going to bring in more work and it's going to keep elevating.
And you'd have more time to do it.
Yeah. So I need to get over that for 2025, I think, and just send him an offer, employ him, and just have a really good year.
Yeah. No, I honestly, to have someone like that that's not you, because normally that's like, you know, business owner, because you know, you're going to try your absolute best because it's for you. Do you know what I mean? Whereas to have your brother that can do that and is really good at it, it almost seems like you can.
And he's motivated.
Yeah.
Because it's me, he's motivated to make it successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And he's doing it in his own time, regardless of whether I told him I'm going to pay him or not. He's still doing it.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm trying to do 5 people's jobs. I'm trying to be on the tools. I'm trying to do my videos, do marketing, do the finances, follow leads, try and get reviews. I'm trying to do all the stuff that in big business, every one of those things is a separate person's job. And so if I can just hand some of the responsibility off to him, it's going to take a huge weight off my shoulders, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I honestly agree with you. Because it'd be great, you know, I've tried email marketing and there's only so much I can do because I get fed up of typing. You know, it's well and easy making a template, but if he's making personalised emails to send to each of these companies, it almost seems like, wow, this person's taken the time to email us. Find an email address for a start, because some places are incredibly hard to find an email address for.
Yeah.
Personalise the email that suits us and tells us exactly what they're offering. And, you know, there's a bit of like, just, you know, like they're properly targeting that place. And I feel like most companies don't really get that. It's going to be a template saying, hi, I don't even know what your name is. Because I bet you Zach's probably researching the person he's going to send to the inbox's name as well.
Probably.
Yeah, and
what
that
else he's done? There's a little nugget for you, and I'll send you a list after this if you want to give me some locations. He's done a freedom of information request to get the email addresses for every single school in the UK.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even think of that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, no, that sounds incredible. Yeah, I mean,
if you want the email addresses for all your local schools, let me know and I'll send them over to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, that'd be great, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that sounds like an employee you never get almost, if you know what I mean. But yeah obviously you want to make sure of everything completely.
You've just convinced me to just do it.
But yeah, well, anyway, Jake, we've been going for an hour and 53 minutes on my screen. So yeah, it's been absolutely great talking to you again.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll chat again soon anyway. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, please do leave a like and check out Jake's channel as well. It's Smout's Pressure Washing on YouTube. Smout's. It might just be Smout. Is it Smout?
It's just Smout on YouTube, and then all my social media I think is Smout's Pressure Washing. But I really hope someone has found anything we've spoken about useful. Like if you've got like a small nugget from it, and it's been like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, then mission complete, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tend to find myself running out of things to listen to when I'm doing the work, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why I started, you know, having an idea to do a podcast that people could listen to on Spotify and things like this while they're working.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really do hope you all enjoyed. There's going to be more of this to come. But, Jake, finally, before we go, I want you to ask the next person on the podcast a question, but I'm not going to tell you who it is or what they do. It's a really hard one to think about. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
See ya.
Right, Jake, what I'll do